Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Brewster here, and welcome to our introduction to the idea of mood. What kind of mood are you in today? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you grumpy? There are a lot of different words that describe our moods. You can see here in this graphic from vocabulary.com, there's dozens of words that describe our moods. Secret, some of these words are spelled wrong in their graphic, but it's a really good graphic because it gives you some really good words that describe the kind of moods we can be in. We can be revolted, we can feel vulnerable, we can feel loving or perplexed or rejected or angry, all good words to describe mood. But what do we mean when we talk about the mood of a text? I mean, after all, a book doesn't have any feelings. But when an author sits down to create a text, one of their main goals is to create a mood, a feeling in the reader. They want the reader to feel a certain way. That's part of the job of the author. So when we get down to a definition, what we say is that mood is an element of a text or one part of a text that creates certain feelings in readers through words and descriptions. So another word for mood is atmosphere, and you may have heard that word before, whether it's applied to kind of a traditional text like a story, or more like a movie, which is another kind of text. So there are many words that can describe mood in a text. A text can be creepy or frightening or gloomy or joyful or romantic or suspenseful. There's all different kinds of words that can describe the mood in a text. So, but how does an author actually make you do that? How does an author make you feel? Well, authors create mood through various methods, including setting, tone, voice, and central idea. So setting is where and when the story takes place. And obviously, a story that takes place, just as dark storm clouds are gathering in a creepy old house has a lot different feeling to it or a lot different mood to it than a story that of a birthday during a birthday party in a beautiful outdoor space on a warm sunny day. Those stories have different moods because they have different settings. Tone is the attitude the author takes, and voice is the attitude of the narrator. So I think we've all probably sent or received texts with attitude, and we get a certain feeling from reading those texts because the author has sort of, the person who sent us those texts kind of has a certain attitude in the way they wrote it, in the words they chose. So that's what we mean by tone and voice. And another factor that influences mood is what's the central idea? What's the big idea or the moral of the story? It's the lesson you learn. So obviously, in a story like The Tortoise and the Hare, the tortoise beating the rabbit makes us all sort of feel a certain way, because sometimes in our lives we've all been that tortoise, and we all sort of get the joy of winning something just because we persisted and worked really hard at it. So that's what we mean by mood. So just to review, mood is the feeling the reader gets from reading a text. So let's learn more about mood in a text, and we're going to do that by reading a story called Click Clack the Rattlebag by an author named Neil Gaiman. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go into Classroom and open your copy of the text Click Clack the Rattlebag. You're going to keep that tab open, but I want you to open a new tab, and you do that by clicking on the plus sign. In that new tab, go to Classroom and open your copy of the Show What You Know for Click Clack the Rattlebag. Now you want to keep both tabs open while you're doing this. So you're going to click back to the tab with the text and read the story. While you're reading the story, if you have a hard time with a word that is in blue, click on it and you'll get the definition of the word. When you come to the Swick Kids symbol, and you'll see she's kind of down there in the corner of this slide, go to the Show What You Know tab and answer the question number on the SWIC Kids mini whiteboard. Now, in this example here of the SWIC Kid, it's kind of hard to read the number because she's the first one. But as you go on to other questions, it'll just have a number on it. It'll say 2 or 3 or 4, and that tells you which question you're supposed to answer. So I'm going to stop this slideshow here, and you're going to go back, and you're going to see me. So here I am, and I'm in a joyful mood because the Celtics are doing really good. They just swept the 76ers. So just let me take a minute here and review what you're supposed to do. I want to show you a couple other documents. So the stuff I just explained, let me open this up. So this is the story. So let me share this with you. So here's the story. And you can see on my screen, this is the story, Click Clock the Rattlebag. It's kind of a short story. And you'll see here that there's a word in blue. It's also underlined. If I click on that word, it'll take me to a slide which has the definition of the word tussle, its use in a sentence, and a picture, which kind of gives you an idea. So sorry about that. So if I go back here to the story, and I'm sorry, I'm not able to, there we go, get rid of that. I just want to close that. There we go. You'll see here, I go down, and here I'm on page 2, and I get to the show what you know girl. And it says here in the story, show what you know, or I'm sorry, in the picture, show what you know number 1. So I'm going to leave the story now. So I'm going to click out of this. I actually have these tabs open, but when I film these, I can't click back and forth between them and have you see them both. So I'm going to stop this for a second. I'm going to go back, and you're seeing me again. Yep, still in my Celtics hat. So now I want to present to you the SWIC, the show what you know, and that's right, it's here somewhere. There we go. So let me share that with you. Okay, so here's what that looks like. So this is where you're going to actually do your work. So there's some just directions here about what you're supposed to do. You only have to answer incomplete sentences if you get this thing, the TTQA next to it. We'll be talking more about that. So here you type in your name, and then you can see, so here is number 1. So the little SWIC Kid sent you to this, and it asks you in the gray highlighted text at the bottom of page 1 at the top of page 2, why are there so many short paragraphs? So we'll be talking more about that later, but this is what you're going to do in this text, in this assignment, and I will be with you throughout the text. There'll be little icons of me where you can click on, and I'll give you a little bit of information. But I hope you found this basic introduction to Mood helpful. And as always, if you have any questions, you're stuck and you don't understand the directions, please just ask.